wonderful people of the internet, welcome back to another episode of Simuleos. Today is going to be an absolutely wonderful day. It is the day after Christmas, my time, which it means it is actually Christmas, your time. So I hope you guys are having an absolutely Merry Christmas. I don't really know what I'm saying here, but have a Merry Christmas. I hope you are having a good Christmas. You know what I'm saying. And if you are spending your last few hours of Christmas here on this stream, that's perfectly okay. I totally understand. I don't know what I'm saying at all. Anyway, I'm glad you're here. It's basically all I'm trying to say. Thanks for coming in. It is going to be, I don't know exactly what we're doing today. We're going to be taking a look at some algorithm archive stuff, seeing where we can go from there. And then starting in probably tomorrow, we'll start working on some other stuff, you know. So if you were not here yesterday, we finally solved one of the long-standing issues of the algorithm archive. It was either yesterday or the day before that we solved it, but we implemented the solution yesterday. Hey, Trash Talk, thanks for coming in. Where we basically changed the Creative Commons license for the algorithm archive to Creative Commons share alike by attribution. And this basically made it so anyone can submit a chapter if they want to, and we just attribute them at the bottom of the chapter. And that's kind of nice. It's not actually in the algorithm archive yet. I think it's still over here on the pull requests, and then we'll be good to go from there. But basically, once we have the this license reviewed and everyone's happy with it, then we are good to go from there. I'm pretty happy with that solution. I mean, granted, there are some issues with it. You know, like one of the big issues with the CC by SA is that now, you know, we don't really have commercial rights over the book anymore. But you know, fine, fair enough. I mean, we're kind of assuming that people probably are not going to print out copies of this, just a full-on copy of the algorithm archive. I think I'm even okay if they just print out snippets of the algorithm archive here and there. I just don't want them to like print out the algorithm archive, you know. But then again, I mean, no one's printing out just Wikipedia, you know. Everyone just goes online to view Wikipedia. So I think we're probably okay just using CC by SA. One big problem is that in the future we cannot change the CC by SA. It's stuck as CC by SA for all eternity if we do this. But that's fine. I think it's okay. But once this is done, we can then finally start merging in some of the chapters that we've been waiting to merge in. We've got about 5 of them just sitting back and waiting for review that I haven't really been able to do until this one issue has been solved. And then once it's solved, we are basically good to go there. One other note that has been updated, another long-standing issue in the algorithm archive, has been the syntactical highlighting of C and C++ code, and this has also basically been solved with this particular PR here. So I want to go ahead and show you guys what this one is. So let's go to command line instructions and let's check this guy out. Let me just pop over here and CD into projects algorithm archive. Anyway, I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Please feel free to talk about your Christmas day, like how everything was, what you guys did. If you guys made cookies for Santa Claus, if Santa Claus came, ate your cookies. I don't know how Christmas works in other countries. I know where I'm from, you know, on Christmas Eve, we would open up presents for the family, and on Christmas Day, Santa Claus would come and give us more gifts, and these were gifts, like, obviously from our parents, not necessarily from Santa Claus, because we were all bad kids, and, you know, Santa Claus never actually gave us anything. We got a lot of coal, but, yeah, so our parents just pretended we were good kids and gave us gifts anyway. I mean, we always knew what was happening. Santa Claus didn't actually care for us, but it was okay. You know, I'm sure he cared for other people, and it was probably fine. Anyway, what I'm saying is that if you have, like, cool Christmas traditions or something you want to share, just feel free to do so. I mean, I'm up for rambling today a bit. I know it's Christmas for a lot of you guys, so I do understand. And, I mean, the holiday season is basically a season where you hang out with family and you enjoy your time together. And if you didn't hang out with family and you didn't enjoy your time together or something like that, that's also an interesting thing to talk about. I don't know, rambling a bit, ranting a bit, it's cool. That's not how you spell serve. Let's try that again. Hey, Uncle Bill, how are you? Okay. So let's give this guy a go. We're building it. So basically what we did here is we've changed the syntax highlighter from the natural highlight.js to Prism. Now, the thing is, Prism does not have syntax highlighting for factor, white space, lol code, stuff like this. So it's missing some syntax highlighting, but for the most part it works, and it guarantees that we don't run into the issue that we were having before with the syntax highlighting. And it looks fine, like it is okay. So let's go down to Gaussian elimination. So here's what it looks like now, or after the Prism highlighting, and let's go ahead and take a look at what it looks like as of this moment. So let's go to Gaussian elimination here. Let's just scroll down a bit. And here's a code block. Let's see, what language are we looking at? Julia. Python, let's flip to Julia. Oh, sorry for the yawn, guys. Okay, so here's basically the change. Ultimately, I think it looks basically the same. I think it's good. And it fixes one of the longest standing issues we've had with the syntax highlighting to date with C++, which is that the C++ syntax highlighting in the previous highlight.js doesn't allow for nested parentheses, which is obviously a big deal when you're doing a lot of math calculations. So, we had to fix that somehow, and this solution works. And it's a bit nicer for some reasons, or in some ways, than the other solution that we had. Hey JSBP, how are you? Thanks for coming in. We were just talking about your pull request with the Prism stuff in there and mentioning the differences and explaining like why we needed all this kind of stuff. I think it's pretty good. We were just looking over it. Again, besides the fact, I think the only language that is missing that I kind of feel like maybe it should have is Factor. But then again, there were a lot of languages that are still missing. Like all these unknown languages, I feel like we should be able to solve all these unknown languages. But these are with include code block. And not with the Prism syntax highlighter. Yeah, I'm not really sure. See, now we're having these issues where it's like unknown language C, unknown language CPP. Yeah, I'm not sure how we could maybe get those. Someone could go to the repo and make PRs for Prism. Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. We definitely could. I mean, again, this is another thing that we could fork onto our own algorithm archive thing, or group. I don't know, or algorithm archive organization. I don't know how we can get rid of the include code block. Yeah, I agree with you. I don't know how to get rid of them either. I mean, at this point, I agree with the discussion that we said the other day, where we're kind of building the algorithm archive on some outdated software. And in principle, we should be trying to find a solution that allows us to build the algorithm archive in a way that's a little bit faster and maybe solves and is maybe specifically for our project itself, so that we don't have to worry about using Gitbook, which is potentially an older or is technically outdated. You know what I mean? Because the warnings don't matter at all. Yeah, this is true. I mean, they don't really matter, but it'd still be nice not to have them, but ultimately, yeah, it's fine. It doesn't really matter at all. But yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, ultimately, I would really like to have like a new Gitbook, something that works specifically for the algorithm archive. But this is something that I can't do right now. And honestly, I won't have the expertise for it for a while. And again, I don't think we could potentially do this unless we have like people working on the algorithm archive full time and stuff like that, which is not something that we currently have. Again, there are two solutions for this. One is for me to just quit my job and everything, work on the algorithm archive full time, or two, to become a college professor. But again, they both take forever. Well, one, we get kind of what we want like right away, but ultimately, it's going to be a while before I get everything underway. The other one is, going to take like 15 years to be a college professor, and then finally I could work on it. Also, Prism breaks night mode, but I guess that's fine. Oh, what? Does it? I was not aware of this. I didn't even try night mode. Oh, wow. You were right about that one. Okay, and zooming, that didn't help. That didn't help at all. Let me try this again. I was just trying to zoom in a bit and see if I could take a look at the code. So I don't know if you guys can see on stream or not, but it kind of adds this weird 3D effect to the code here, which is really weird. Let's try sepia. Yeah, sepia is fine, but the night mode is a bit off. Hey, Multiple Pixels, how are you? I feel like it's been a while. Merry Christmas. I hope you're having a wonderful day. So let's change this to serif font, sans font. Increase the text size. I don't know. I'm just playing around now. Yeah, so that's about as big as I can make it. Oh, no, I can make it bigger. What? What? How big can I make this? No, that's as big as I can make it. Let's zoom back out a little bit since I can make it a bit bigger. So there's 100. Wow, that's huge. But yeah, in night mode, the text is a bit funny. There you are. Oh well, there isn't really much I can do about that. Okay, so let's go back to the normal text size, which should be here, I believe. And then we'll change this. This is sans. Let's go back to our favorite mode, which is sepia. I think I might just use sepia from now on. Okay. What's on the docket for today? So today we're going to be working on a few more pull requests here and there, and then we're going to talk about what we need to do in the future. So probably we're going to get through, start talking about the chapter revisions that need to be done. We're going to highlight what actually, like, what we need to start working on. And then we're going to start talking about what we're going to be doing in the future and stuff like that. I understand that it's Christmas for a lot of you guys, so I don't mind just chilling, hanging out, talking, this kind of stuff today. It's kind of up in the air a bit. Hanging out around with family was good. Oh, cool. I'm so glad that you guys, you enjoyed your time with the family. I know a lot of people find their family a little bit stressful, so, you know, it is what it is. I pushed to not have presents this Christmas since I see them as utterly useless and inefficient, so I got in the right direction there as well. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you there. I don't genuinely like getting gifts. I think it's kind of like, if you're gonna get a gift, I would like that gift to be somewhat useful. You know what I'm saying? Like, otherwise it's kind of a useless, like, why? What's the point? So like my parents, I was like, hey, I need new sunglasses or something like this. Maybe a new swimsuit. I don't know, this kind of stuff. And so basically, you know, the gifts that I got were fine. Like, there were a few gag gifts here and there. But because there's 6 people in the family, they wanted to make sure that I got, you know, 6 gifts or whatever. And that was kind of what I got. So they gave me like some stress balls, like a lot of stress balls. I don't know why. They got me a new pair of sunglasses, which admittedly are quite large on me. Here's the new pair of sunglasses they got me. They're very large on me. I just have an incredibly small face, so no matter what I wear, the sunglasses, they just look very, very big on me, and there isn't really much I can do about it. I mean, I like the sunglasses from my perspective. It's just from everyone else's perspective, they look a bit goofy. But that's okay. There isn't anything I can do. I've just got a weirdly shaped, very small face, and there's nothing I can do about that. I don't like the gift part of Christmas. I like the family part. I totally agree with you. Many people in the Netherlands don't do gifts for Christmas. We already have Sinterklaas. What is Sinterklaas? Open link. Sinterklaas, is that not Santa Claus? Is a legendary figure based on Saint Nicholas. How is this any different than Santa Claus? Oh, it probably is the same guy. I'm sure it is, right? But anyway, so Santa Claus, yeah. So in our family, like, you have Christmas, and then you have Santa Claus coming on Christmas Day, and you open up gifts on Christmas Eve. I don't know. It's an interesting little situation that we have going on there. But again, like, gifts for the family are given on Christmas Eve. He does his gift giving on 5th of December. Oh, interesting. Why? Why does he do it on the 5th of December? Okay, fine, fair enough. I mean, it solves some issues, right? Because if Santa Claus does everything on Christmas Eve, it is kind of difficult for him to do everything. So if he does some things on the 5th of December, that saves him a little bit of time, you know, where he doesn't have to go to the Netherlands anymore because he's already been there as Sinterklaas. And that's probably fine. Okay. What do we say? Oh, this is in the Netherlands, right? Oh yeah, get the time. Start with the on. Yeah, Netherlands. Cool. Okay. Neat-o. Okay, so here's the Gaussian elimination chapter that we have right now. And let's go ahead and pop down here. I'm just going to go ahead and Control-C. Get checkout. Master. Unless you get branch. I'm just going to go ahead and delete the branch for now. I know I can pull it up later, so get branch. -D. And we're going to go ahead and get rid of this branch. So let's do another get branch real quick. So we have a couple branches here. I think the Go BOGO sort guy was already solved. So I think I can go ahead and get rid of that one. So let's go over here and let's take a look at the recently closed pull requests. And then we'll go ahead and get started with the bulk of today's episode, which is going to be basically working on Gauss Jordan Rust. There's nothing I can do about Gauss Jordan Rust. Fixing line numbers for Python tree traversal. Yeah, so this one, yeah, we can delete that branch. Now what else? What else can I delete? Man, I just can't speak today. ID license is the end of every file for. Oh, this is closed. This is what I'm looking for. Then we should have adding videos to chapter, adding Go implementations bogosort.md. Yeah, this guy can also be deleted. Wait. Why did we revert this? Huh. 1 second. Why was that reverted? What is this? Added a commit to... Why did this happen? Well, let me go ahead and take a look real quick at the current algorithmarchive.org. Let's go to Bogosort. Let's just make sure Go is still there. Yeah, so Go is still there. It's fine. I don't really understand why it was reverted. Let's see, but that's not more than 10 euros, I would say, and you usually put stuff in shoes. Oh yeah, we have a little gift giving on the 6th of December as well, for Nicholas. Oh, interesting. Yep. Is anything keeping you from approving 561? Let me see, what's 561? Where is 561? Let me take a look. 561. Oh, I thought you said that you were waiting on doing something before approving it, so I was waiting for you. That was what I was waiting on. So you said that you wanted to, you were adding it as work in progress so you can squash the comments after approval. Oh, after approval. I was thinking you were waiting before approval. Yeah, let me go ahead and I'll approve it. It's fine. Let's go ahead and do files changed. Review changes. Comment, approve. This is a positive change. Submit review. Okay, good. Just reviewed. Feel free to do whatever you want to do. There was nothing keeping me back. I just was waiting on you to squash everything beforehand. So I apologize for that. Yeah, I didn't realize it was after approval. Oh, was this edited? Yeah, okay, you added the after approval. Yeah, okay. I was waiting for the squash. Okay, cool. Now let's see. So once this guy's in, we fixed another long-standing issue of the algorithm archive, which is the, what do we have here? Unifying code, nope. Broken C++, SNE C++ highlighting. So once this guy's merged in, we've then solved this issue, which is nice. And we can finally close this long-standing issue in the algorithm archive, which I'm pretty happy about. So let me get some water. Okay, so now let's talk about where we're going. I think we have a couple of different directions that we can move in. And it's not really clear which directions we should go in. So I figure let's talk about it. Let's see where we should go from here. As far as the Twitch stream is concerned, we have a few different streams that we can do in the future. You know, like on the one hand, we're still working on the cow logo, which is mostly done. We just have to finish up the head and a few other things with the GathVL library. There's a lot of stuff to do there. We also need to start working on revisions for the Fourier transform chapter. I've got a lot of revisions kind of written down on paper as far as like where I need to move things and what I need to do, but I haven't actually started writing the review or writing the revision for that chapter yet. So that's the next chapter that needs to be updated. In addition, we also need to start writing chapters down for, let's see, what do we need to write for? We need to write chapters for fractals and stuff like that. So there's actually going to be a bit of study time, a bit of writing, a bit of stuff here associated with that. So if we do the writing of the Fourier transform, or if we do the writing of the fractals or something like this, there's going to be basically some study intermixed with actually doing revisions and stuff like that. If we work on the cow logo, it's going to be us drawing the cow logo again. The next video that's going to be coming out on Laos OS will be basically the fractal video, just Fractal Flame, maybe IFS systems in general is probably what we're going to be working on. I haven't yet decided whether we should have a chapter on the Fractal Flame algorithm itself. I feel like maybe we should, but at the same time, I'm not sure exactly what to put into that chapter, because the Fractal Flame method is basically a mixture of, oh, how do I put this? It's a mixture of all of the, I don't know. It's a mixture of all of the other iterative function systems kind of put together. So it's kind of just an advanced iterative function solving, or iterative function system solver, I guess you could put it. So I haven't decided whether this one deserves a chapter or not. I guess in principle it does. I think it's kind of cool enough to put into the algorithm archive. Plus, the only real paper that I found that describes the iterative function systems in such a way that you can then move on to and do the Fractal Flame method is the original Fractal Flame paper itself. So I think maybe there's need or there's a reason to discuss it in a little bit more detail. So these are kind of the directions I'm thinking about going, and I'm kind of interested to hear what you guys are most interested in, I guess. So the plan is, let's go ahead and do Cal right here. The plan is for, let's see, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday this week. I'm going to be working on something. I haven't quite decided what. So today's Wednesday, then we have Thursday and Friday. On Saturday, I think I want to do another somewhat longer stream where we're working on just revisions and stuff like that for the algorithm archive, so that we can kind of get ready for the new year, where we have a whole bunch of, new chapters that will be submitted, new chapters that will be basically in the algorithm archive, stuff like that. Now, what I also want to point out is that maybe on Sunday this week, I was thinking about putting out a video, another Contributors Corner video, describing all the cool stuff that's been happening in the algorithm archive so far, all this kind of stuff. But I haven't quite decided whether we should do that or not. It'd be kind of like a year wrap-up video or something like this, and I don't know if it's necessarily the best idea to do or not. So it's also kind of up in the air. Now, I also want to do some longer streams on January 2nd and January 3rd, but we'll see. It might just be one of those 2 days that we do a longer stream. It just depends on work schedule and stuff like that. So technically, January 1st, 2nd, and 3rd are all days off here in Japan, but I think, in principle, I might still be going into work on those days. It just depends on how much work I can get done today, tomorrow, and Friday in the office, because, and I guess also on Monday in the office. So there's a lot of stuff that needs to be done there, so we'll see how it goes. There's just so much to do. I'm not really sure if I can get it all done before my boss comes back on next Friday, so we'll see. But that's kind of the whole scope of things. That's all we have left to do. So I think what I might want to do is today take a look at some of the pull requests for some of the chapters that we have, and then we'll start working on the revisions at some point, either today or tomorrow. So far we have a whole bunch of different chapters that we need to update. And these chapters are basically all down here. So we have graph algorithms chapter, PID controller chapter, let's see. Merge sort, technically, although this one probably won't be attacked for a while, and insertion sort. Again, these guys just were not sufficiently developed, if I remember correctly, such that we could actually put them into the algorithm archive. And then the cryptography chapter and the PID control chapter. These are two chapters that I would like to review more thoroughly, and I'd like to put them into the algorithm archive. There's a lot of things for both of them that I kind of would like to update, and we'll see how that goes. But again, this is all contingent on 560 being merged in. And once that's merged in, I think we're pretty good to go there. So again, let me know if you have any comments, questions, concerns, anything like that, and I will totally address that as soon as I can see it in chat. Wait, what is all this? The Inventor 13 and others added some commits 26 days ago. Oh, I see what's happening. You're, you are, how do I put it? Squashing and rebasing and everything. It's perfectly fine. Okay. I need to fix something there. Bubble sort finally done. Fixed typo. Lift, forgive me. Please work. Did we merge this into the algorithm archive? One second. Let me see what we have here. I'm going to do algorithm archive over here. And let me do 733 commits. Oh, someone must have, this might have been me, or might have been like, I don't know who did it, but someone must have forgotten to squash when they merged a pull request, which is a bit annoying, but that's okay. It's not the biggest deal. So we just have these guys that, yeah, I mean, we could fix it, but it's not worth fixing, I don't think. Hey, C252, how are you? I hope you're having a wonderful Christmas. Okay. Good. Missing algorithm implementations. Yeah, again, this guy's kind of important. That should have been squashed. It's okay. It's not a big deal. It doesn't really matter too much. Okay. So what do you guys think? Let me go ahead and open up a poll. Let's see what we want to do in the future. So we'll do straw poll. My stream keeps buffering. Do any of you ever experience the same? I can't seem to find a proper fix, and it shouldn't be my network's fault. I need to fix a PR2. What kind of buffering are we talking about? Like, are we talking about the stream completely stopping? Or are we talking about, let me see, let me go ahead and F5 over here and let me see if I can find it. Because there's another type of buffering that happens and there's nothing you can do about it. Absolutely nothing. So one second, let me see. Where the stream just continually, let me change the features here to, I don't know. I guess it should be fine. Yeah, I'm not seeing that type of buffering, but there's some types of buffering that happens on stream, and I can't do anything about it, where like it just kind of flashes every now and again, and there's literally nothing I can do. It's just like every now and again, it's just like you're watching the stream, it's perfectly fine, and then all of a sudden there's a flash of low quality, and then you're watching it again and again and again, and there's a flash of low quality, but it doesn't actually stop the stream. In any way. I do have quality options today, so if you need to just like use a lower quality video, you can just go to quality and drop the quality, which is unfortunate because it means you can't read the text, but it is what it is. I get minor audio cuts and large latency. What? Yeah, so I can't fix this. There's nothing I can do. I'm not dropping any frames. Yeah, I have no dropped frames, so everything should be fine on my end. And there isn't much I can do. Oh, 12 seconds of latency. When you say latency, you're not talking about audio-video lag. You're talking about latency between my stream itself and what is shown on Twitch. And that's, I'm sorry, I just don't have low latency enabled. I have regular latency enabled. I'm not going to write a chapter until the licensing stuff is figured out. But when it is, do you think I could write a selection sort chapter? Yeah, go ahead. I mean, again, these are going to be very heavily revised. So there's a couple things that we need to work on. And in fact, maybe first what we should do. Okay, so there's a couple things that we can do. So what are we doing? Okay, so the first thing we could do is FFT chapter revisions. That's not how you spell revisions. Let's try that again. Then the second thing we could work on is chapter, I will say submission guidelines. This will be like, how do I put this? Like pull request templates. And let's see, I guess chapter submissions guidelines, chapter submission guidelines. Okay, let's see, what else do we have here? Submission guidelines, then we could also do chapter reviews. I'm kind of sort of iffy on whether we should do chapter reviews on stream, because it could be potentially like, I might be really harshly attacking certain chapters. I mean, I don't mean any offense to people writing chapters. That's not what I'm trying to say. I'm saying that the issue I have is that if I do start reviewing text, I'm going to be very harshly reviewing the text. So we need to kind of think about that. The next thing, let's see, chapter reviews, FFT chapter revision. Let's see. Maybe I should lowercase this guy up here. Oh, that's not how you spell chapter. Let's try chapter revisions over here. And then the last thing is going to be scow animation. Other comment. So these are kind of the list of things that we could do today. Let's see, what do we have over here? That latency. Yeah, there's nothing I can. I'm not gonna use low latency. I can't change it right now anyway. It doesn't buffer. It just stops refreshing, fixes it. I have no idea how to prevent that from happening. Yeah, I don't either. I'm sorry about that. I talked to my friends and they were like, "What? Merge sort is not in the algorithm archive?" Yeah, well, I'm sorry. That's because the algorithm archive. I mean, we just don't do sorting. It's just one thing that I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. Like, I find sorting rather, I don't think that sorting is necessarily, like, it is useful. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think that sorting is as useful as people make it out to be. Like, I can't think of the last time I've actually had to implement a sorting method. It's just not. I don't think I've ever had to do that. There's always some STD sort that I use and it's fine. I don't think I've ever had to implement it. It's great for like courses because like if you do like an algorithms course, like the first algorithms you're going to learn are going to be sorting and searching, and it's fine. But I don't think actually in practice people have to implement their own sorts because there's always an STD sort which is going to be more efficient than whatever it is that you're using. We need to be very sure that a chapter of PR legally publishes the content. It does. I'm not worried about that at all. Let's see. Adding PID control chapter. Let's see. Relay integration to Fortran 90. I think you were talking about, 346. Again, I don't know if we should do that right now. We'll see. I think that we could bang out other sorting algorithms pretty quick. I mean, we could, but I mean, we have to do these really, really, really well. And that's the thing. I'm not convinced that we are. There's two reasons I haven't done sorting and searching. One, it's because everyone else does sorting and searching. Three reasons. One is because everyone else does sorting and searching. Two is because I don't think sorting and searching is actually worthwhile to cover in this book. I mean, it's useful, but it's kind of, again, like I said before, I can't think of the last time I actually had to implement my own sorter. I think for the most part, it's always, there's always some sort of standard sort. And 3, there are so many other books that do it better that if we're going to start tackling it, we really have to provide something new to the table. And that's, I don't know if we can do that or not. And that's the thing. I don't know. I just realized I'm a terrible writer. I mean, it's fine. It'll be very heavily revisioned. Maybe ask permission if you want to review chapters on stream. Yeah, I guess that'd probably be a good way to do it. I didn't just realize it. I always knew it. As far as the PR legally publishing under CC by SA, I'm like 100% sure that that's not an issue. Let's see. I think it can be helpful for people to have direct critique on their chapters. I agree, but I don't know if we should do this on stream. Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and create this poll. I'm just going to put it down and see what you guys want to do today, and then we'll kind of work on it from there. Okay, what do we have here? The Gathros FC373745. Have you considered using your math skills towards AI machine learning? Honestly, AI machine learning doesn't really use that much math. It's not particularly mathematically rigorous. And on top of that, it's, I don't know, it just hasn't come up in my research or anything, so I haven't really tackled it yet. It is something that will go in the algorithm archive eventually, it's just not there yet. Says the arcane algorithm archive. I mean, that's clear. Clearly, James doesn't want to use CSTD sort. I mean, for the algorithm archive, that doesn't make sense. Let's see. Sorting algorithms also aren't the most interesting algorithms. Wait, you're writing a book? Wait, what do you mean, are you writing a book? I've been writing this book for like a year and a half now. It's been my primary project for literally a year and a half. All correct points about sorting, in my opinion. Let's see, Stropple. Oh yeah. How are you sure? Is a PR enough to have the author publish its content on CC by SA, or do we need some sort of consent? Well, I mean, it's in the PR template that I'm going to be creating. So that's the point of the submission guidelines. If it says in the PR template that, you know, that all chapter contents, I agree to have all chapter contents licensed under CC by SA with attribution to me and other authors and future editors or something like this, then it's fine. Question got recognized. Wait, what? Yeah, so I'm excited. Any ETAs? Gonna get it for sure. Oh, yeah. So what I'm talking about here, again, let me clarify here. When I say I'm writing the book, I'm saying I'm writing the algorithm archive. I mean, it is a book. It's intended to be a book. I don't know when it's going to be published. It's probably going to be published in like 10 years or something like that. By that, I mean, it's probably going to be printed in 10 years. Okay, so let's see. We should probably still get in contact with Wikimedia. Yeah, I just don't know why. I mean, you can if you want, but I think it's fine. I think as long as, because other people do this, it's perfectly fine. I don't see a problem with it. I mean, even then, like, it's kind of like people don't say, oh, I agree to have my code licensed under MIT, because it's the natural license of the book. And as long as we write in the chapter submission guidelines, as long as we write, hey, all chapter contents that are written for this book will be licensed under CC by SA with attribution to you and all future editors of this chapter, it's fine. I think it's perfectly fine. Okay, so I'm just going to see what people are saying. I don't know. We'll see. So a lot of people, so we're actually split on a couple different things. Pretty much no one has any idea what we should be doing today. So chapter reviews, scout animation, let's see, other. So no one wrote other, which is nice. So we're getting there. Let's see. Gonna get more. Yeah, so anyway, as far as the algorithm archive is concerned, again, I would like to eventually print it as a book. Oh man, we've got this little peace logo going on. That's kind of nice. Now we don't. So it looks like 3 people want to do chapter reviews. Yeah, we can do chapter reviews starting with Gathros's. But again, I'm kind of biased against doing chapter reviews simply because the chapter review is going to be a little bit harsh. I mean, I know it's going to be harsh. I'm always quite harsh. Merry Christmas and or happy holidays. Yeah, hey Arksam, how are you? I chose FFT because I have to go, so ignore that one. I guess that's fine. But we do need to do FFT chapter revisions at some point. Okay. Hey, you're the boss. Do what you want. No, I mean, if most people want me to do chapter reviews, I'll do chapter reviews. It's fine. It's just, again, I'm going to be rather harsh against some chapters. So just because there's a lot of stuff that we need to make sure we have in every chapter. Okay, 1 second. Oh, I see what happened. Control C. Okay, cool. Sorry, I was just checking my notifications on my side screen real quick. Okay, so looks like we got a few votes. I'm going to go with one of the top two. We might just go back to the scow animation instead of doing the chapter reviews. Again, I'm just terrified. I'm gonna be super harsh with the chapter review because I know I am, but I can take a look at it and we can see what we have. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at the chapter review. Obviously, the chapter review that we need to do, well, one of the two chapter reviews we need to do first are, let's see, issues. Let's go to pull requests over here. So there are two chapters that are basically ready to be reviewed. It's the not graph algorithms. It is the PID controller, and I guess we could also do graph algorithms. And then the other one is going to be the cryptography chapter. So these are three chapters that should probably be reviewed. Now the thing is, this one has actually been reviewed, and it looks like there's some comments that just haven't been merged in appropriately. But that's okay. I'll go ahead and take a look at this. So this is the pull request for the PID control chapter. Yeah, so there's actually a lot of reviews here that just haven't been... Yeah, okay, so that's fine. So we'll, oh, actually, these say they're all outdated. Let's go and check the files changed. I go for graph theory. Review mine, it's fine. Let's see, started graph algorithms chapter. Let's see. Commits. Conversation, files changed. Yeah, so this is another one that needs a very heavy revision. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and pop in here and say, I realize I am quite late to this, but we are now ready to start. Let's see, accepting general chapter submissions. Are you still I guess, are you still willing to allow your chapter to work on this chapter? Yeah, we'll say something like that. Also, all chapter contents. All chapter contents will, one second, now be licensed. Sorry, licensed under CC by SA with attribution to you and future editors. Let's see. You wrote not ready instead of now ready. Oh, we are now ready. Yep, that's a big change there. I realize I'm quite late to this. Man, everything's just typo all around. I realize I'm quite late to this, but we are now ready to start accepting general chapter submissions. Are you still willing to work on this chapter? Also, all chapter contents will be licensed under CC by SA with attribution to you and future editors. Okay, let's go ahead and comment on that guy and see if he's ready. Because this one is going to take, it's going to have some very heavy revision. The text is just not, it's not there. Actually, in fact, I'm going to do one more thing and say, if so, let's go here. Edit. If so, would you, I should ask, is this okay? I guess please comment on whether this is okay. Okay, nice. The next thing I'm going to say, if so, would you be willing to... I guess it's fine. Now that we have the GitHub... no. Basically, I would like them to split every sentence line for review. All right, let's go ahead and update and comment. Adam, you can prove it again? Yep, sure, not a problem. Where's the prism? Here it is. F5 over here, just refreshing it, just to make sure it's fine. And then we will go ahead and approve the changes. So let's take a look at the files changed. I'm assuming, yeah, I'm not seeing anything that's changed. So I can rebuild it one more time on my end, just to make sure. Let's see. Alphatronic, hey, how are you? Thanks for coming in. Wait, what do you mean never mind? What is the never mind for? Let me check here. Oh, yeah, I think it says... Wait, what? What is going on here? I'm not even allowed to merge it. Did you already merge it? Wait, what happened? Oh, you already merged it. I see what happened. You merged it, and then... Okay, good. So now that the prism highlighting is in, we're good to go. I rebased it into master. Okay, good. Cool, so now the prism syntax highlighting is in there, so now we have another issue solved, so I'm just going to go ahead and put that down, so 561. Let's go to pull requests, let's go to issues down here. I'm just going to scroll down to the bottom, and we're just going to say, this has been solved after 561. Cool, okay. Let's see. Please let us know our further issues. Why is my signature gone? I have no idea. I'm sorry about that. Good. So this one's now closed. So we've closed one issue, closed one pull request. So far, it's been a pretty good day. Let's see. What do we have over here? We got a few notifications. Let's see. Hi, James. Yes, I'm ready and eager to keep working on the chapter. Also noticed some sections of tree traversal that I don't recall being there when I wrote this PR. And those might fit nicely in here. Yep, okay, sounds good. So, great. Oh, great. Let's see. So, I'm glad to hear. Glad you got back so quickly. Wait, are you in chat? If you're in chat, that's fine. It's a single commit, so that's nice. Okay, so, quickly. We'll work on it throughout this upcoming week. As soon as... let's see, I guess as soon as... I guess, so it's ready. Ready soon. I don't know, we'll see. If you want to see the action, Elder Archive build status. Oh, this is the next Travis build. Yeah, I gotcha. Okay, so let's go back down here. It looks like most people want to do chapter reviews anyway, so this is fine. I'm going to go ahead and close this guy. So, chapter reviews. Work on this ready soon as, what is this? It's going to be license handling. No. Oh, here it is. Adding license end of every file is merged in. Okay. And, yes, I'm ready and eager and willing. Ready and eager to keep working on the chapter. Also notice some sections for each of us. Great. Okay. Let's go ahead and comment there. So let's see, what's the other chapter that we need to update? So the other one is done by either Gathros or Licht, and I'm pretty sure that both of these guys are good to go. So I don't see, I think that both of those chapters, with the cryptography chapter and the PID chapter, both of these people are very active in the community, so I'm not too worried about that. So let's go ahead and take a look at this chapter. It's been a while since I looked at it, if I'm being totally completely honest. I remember thinking that this would be good to have some visuals in, and some references and stuff like that. So there's a few things that I think would be really good to add in for this chapter in particular, and I'll go ahead and take a look and read it and see what we have. Hey, Gathros. You've been in chat for a while. Let's see. Okay, so let's go ahead and read this chapter out. And I think what we need to do now is, since we've modified this a bit, I'm going to ask that we add some stuff at the bottom of this chapter. So here's the script, and what we need to do is down here, at the very bottom, we need to add what we've basically added at the bottom of all the other chapters now. So let me go ahead and move on to the appropriate pull request, which should be... Now, unfortunately, I'm not sure... Yeah, okay, we'll go to pull requests over here, and we'll look at 560 here. And I'm just going to go and grab one of the files changed and just grab... You're talking like I wasn't here? No, I know you were here. I don't know what I was saying. So let's go ahead and just do view file. Raw here. And then we want something like script license. This guy. So do Control C. The first thing obviously we need to do, looks like the Travis build has been successful. That is great. So the first thing we need to do is go to the PID chapter. And basically I want to say that we need to add that to the bottom. So I guess I'll put that in the review section over here. Okay, so we'll do review changes. And we'll say, one, we need to add in the license at the bottom of the chapter. And it should look something like this. Oh, that was not what I meant to do. Let's try that again. Here. And it should be, let's see, the attribution to, I guess, Gathros is fine here. Gathros. Okay. Review changes. Okay, good. It's still there. So that's the first thing that we need. Let's see. Let's keep going from there. And I guess I should also mention that we can't merge this in until after 560 is merged in. We also cannot merge this until 560 is merged. Okay, just as some quick comments. So I guess I should say I cannot approve this until 560 is merged. This fully until 560 is merged. Let's see, what do we have here? Every time I hear the Travis build was successful, I feel a tiny amount of validation. Yeah, I'm so sorry about that, by the way. The Travis build has been incredibly useful. It's definitely something that we wanted and we used a lot, or we have been using a lot. You know, it's an incredibly useful tool, and I really, really appreciate it. I don't know, I know I've said this before, but I really do appreciate it a lot. You were talking like I wasn't here. Prism works, it just doesn't look good in night mode. Yeah, that is the one problem. But on the other hand, it means that C++ now has syntax highlighting. So I'm kind of more for it than I am against it. I'm going to go ahead and close this tab over here. Okay, so this is one note. So let's go ahead and take a look at the code, everything else here. This conversation was marked as resolved, but I don't think it was. Maybe leave a note here that the only controller we need to sort of instruct is the integral. Oh, okay, I said we're okay. Okay, so let's go from here. So written by Gathros. I think what I need to do is just take a look at the raw of this file and see what we have from there. Okay. And here's where we definitely need some more references. Okay, I'm trying to remember what we have here. So I'll go ahead and take a look at the raw of the file and we'll go from here. It's still readable at least. Yeah, it's definitely readable. Let's see. Every time I hear Travis build is successful, it's still readable at least. Yeah, it is readable. Okay, so I think we might want to remove this now that we have the license at the bottom. I'm actually not sure about this. So I'm happy. Note about note on authorship. The top two. Okay, so let's go ahead and just start a review here. Okay, so again, because we're changing the license, I'm not really sure where we should put that. So let's go ahead and read through this chapter, and we'll see what we do from there. You did it back then, right? Yeah, I think so. Okay, so the proportional integral derivative controller, PID controller, is a control loop feedback mechanism used for continuously modulating control. Modulated control. The PID controller is comprised of three parts: proportional controller, integral controller, and derivative controller. Before the thing is, these three, I think I might do something like this. Yeah, so this is the part, I'm not sure what we want to do here. So the problem with this particular sentence here isn't that, the sentence is fine, it reads fine. But the issue is that I don't know what a proportional controller is, an integral controller, or a derivative controller. And if we just had some basic definition in the sentence, that would help. So I don't know, this is just my own personal opinion, but I might do something like the PID controller is comprised of three parts. And then we do one proportional controller, and then we give it a basic definition here. So we're just quick sentence describing what it is. one sentence description. It will say quick description. And then we do the same for 2 and 3. So 2 is going to be, obviously derivative controller or integral controller. And I know they're described below. Let's see. Sorry, grammar pet peeve. You say it is comprised, but you're saying comprises 3 parts. Is that correct? I don't think I've ever heard the word comprises there in that way. 1, 2, 3, meh. But maybe it is correct. I don't know. We could just say is. I mean, yeah, I can do that, I guess. It's just that since this is a quote, it's going to be hard to do this way. Okay, so we'll say proportional controller, then we'll do integral controller. And again, another quick description. And then the last one's going to be 3, which is going to be the derivative controller. And again, a quick description. Now let me also take a look real quick at the, I'm having trouble with this. So let's go ahead and add a review comment here. And what I want to do next is take a look at PID controller real quick on Wikipedia. And see what they say real quick. Because I feel like we want a reference for like the original creators or something like this. But I'm not entirely sure. Because I've got a feeling that there's so many different creators here. SEO comprised of, Again, I don't think I've ever heard like this comprises. I don't think I've heard that. The phrase, let's see. Tenga goes on to comment that fewer people in editorial panel disapprove of the phrase is comprised of than in the case years ago. This is probably like, wait, what are we saying? James will never read it. What are we saying? Oh, what did we say? What did I miss? I feel like I don't understand what I missed. I'm now looking to see if I missed anything. I don't think I did. What? What did I miss? I don't see what I missed at all. From Gathros. All right, feel free to write it again. Like I'm really trying to watch, but if I missed something, I'm really sorry. What I did? I'm super confused. I don't know why you reposted it. I saw it the first time. Like, this is the thing. You guys keep saying I'm not reading the chat, and I did read the chat. It's just sometimes I don't read every comment that the chat says. It's just I personally didn't want to use. Where are we? I didn't want to use this. I would have preferred using. I mean, the difference is obvious, right? Like, this just looks a bit cleaner, in my opinion, because this is what you're actually. I just kind of prefer. I don't know. It's fine. It is what it is. It doesn't matter. But you're right. For this case, it's kind of. You're right. Can I do this? Yeah, something like that. Like, I just prefer this to whatever it was before. Again, I prefer this, but I also understand that other people don't, so it doesn't really matter. So we can also change it back over here. All right, I'll see you, Zayuhe. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce the name for some reason today. But there's literally nothing I can do about that. Like, I'm using a bitrate that's incredibly low, and I just can't go any lower. I mean, have you tried lower quality options? Let's see, output. I mean, my bitrate, I could change it to 2000, I guess. But I mean, we're already low enough now that, like, when I switch desktops, like, you see a whole bunch of bit buffering issues. There isn't a preview option, by the way. Wait, what do you mean preview option? Preview option for what? The stream keeps freezing for me. Again, I can't do anything about that. I can lower the bitrate again, but like the bitrate's super low right now. for GitHub Markdown. What? I have no idea. I don't know what comment we're talking about now. I'm super confused. There's no... What? Yeah, I don't know what comment we're talking about. Okay, anyway, we'll keep working on this. I just prefer this to the other one, honestly. Okay, so let's see. Before we get into how PID controller works. Again, I'd never heard the word comprises used in this way. So maybe we just update that. Maybe we just update the comment entirely. So we just remove the word comprises, because it's one of those words we probably should be avoiding anyway. People that stream at 360p should be shot. I mean, I'm sorry, okay, look, I get a lot of problems, or people come into my stream and they just can't watch it because like I'm streaming at too high quality, and I get that's a problem. But on the other hand, like, you know, it gets to the point where it's like if I scroll down on the algorithm archive, you literally cannot read anything on the screen, and that's kind of why a bitrate of 2000 I think is too low. But that's as low as I'm willing to go. I'm not willing to go any lower than that. Open link. Let's see. Yeah, I hadn't heard that before. Oh, there's a preview? Oh, I see what you're saying. I thought you said there wasn't a preview. Yeah, okay, I guess I could have done that. C252, thank you so much for the bit. Really appreciate it. Yeah, I've always heard is comprised of. I don't think I've ever heard comprises. And this is another one of those things that someone got mad at me on one of my videos recently because I was using, what did I say? I don't remember what I said, but it was something like, this begs the question or something like that. And people were like, oh, that's completely wrong. It's meant to be something else. But like, what was it? Beg the question? I think that was what I used incorrectly. So let me see. They say it's a logical fallacy, which is totally fine. I just don't remember what you're supposed to say instead. Begging the question? Raising the question or something like that. But the thing is, if you look at like the usage of begs the question, like it's fine. And everyone uses begs the question to mean raising the question. And I've never heard raising the question before. I've always heard begs the question, you know? So it's one of those things, you know? Comprises sounds a little less smooth. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. So we should probably rewrite it so it says something else. Let's see, GUI programming, just say no. Hey, Sim in chat. Okay. Thanks for the 4 bits. Really appreciate it, C252. Thanks a lot. Okay, so what we're going to do is PID chapter. Let's keep going. Again, it always takes me literally hours to do any type of revision in this case, or any type of review in this case. Broken, this guy's been closed, and let's go. Again, so the controller is comprised of, we could say the PID controller has 3 components. 3 components. Let's see, something like this, update comment. That way we remove the whole comprised of issue. Because again, I think it's comprised of makes the most sense here, but again, I guess if it's not correct, comprises sounds weird. I could also scream at everyone who says, anyways, but I don't. Grammar is not really important in spoken language in chat. I agree though, a book, it should be proper. Yeah, so like, again, this was on video when I said it begs the question. I would never write it begs the question, because it's kind of a weird phrase to begin with. As far as raising the question is concerned, again, I've never heard the phrase raising the question. I've always heard begs the question. I think that's true for is comprised of. Like, I think I've never heard this comprises. It sounds weird. I don't think I've ever actually heard the word comprises. Let's see, it seems simple enough. To comprise means to contain. The house comprises 7 rooms. Yeah, it's so weird. I've never heard comprises 7 rooms. Like, it's always been the house is comprised of, but even then, comprise is a word that is just, it's one of those words that you would always say contains over comprises anyway. So it's like, for example, the word utilize. There's very few situations in spoken or written language. In fact, I can't think of a single situation in spoken or written language where you would actually use the word utilize over the word use. You know, it always makes sense just to use. I would say it raised the question, raised the issue, not question. Yeah, I think I'd agree with that. Also, language is done by people, not people done by language. Yeah, I agree with you there. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm all for people correcting my grammar and stuff like this. But sometimes if you correct what people say, and you say, oh, you should have said this instead, it's fine, but it also kind of removes the flow of the language sometimes. You know, like, for example, there's always like a meter to what people are saying. There's always a way in which they are speaking such that it kind of flows eloquently. And if you change what someone says, like if you just revise, like if you're reading a written work and you just change one sentence, this is going to dramatically change the meter and dictation of the actual chapter or of the written work itself, such that you can't just like change one word and all of a sudden it's fine. Because if you changed a 2-syllable word to a 3-syllable word or something like this, all of a sudden the whole thing just falls apart and you have to rewrite the whole thing. Many style guides have advised against utilize, arguing that simpler verb use is always preferred. Yep, agreed. This is totally true. And I find a lot of people utilize the word utilize a lot, but it's just, there aren't any situations I can think of where you can't just use the word use, and it's so much easier to understand. And there's words like that I try to avoid overly complicated words too. Okay, so let's see. Before we get into how PID controller works, we need a good example to explain things. So, imagine you're making a self-driving car. These sentences should probably be combined. So we'll say, we need a good example of how to explain things. So imagine you are driving. How could we keep? The only time I would utilize it is if I wanted to insult someone to imply they are a tool. Maybe. French is one situation, I think. Yeah, it could be. I notice a lot of foreign speakers tend to use the word utilize a lot. But usually it's more Asian people that I see using the word. I'm not exactly sure why. Maybe... Yeah, I'm not sure. Like Chinese and Japanese people, I don't see too many Koreans, but I notice a lot of them will use the word utilize. I think it's just to make themselves sound smarter or something like this. I'm not really sure. I have no idea. So before we get into how the PID controller works, we need a good example to explain things. So imagine you're making... How could we keep the car on track? Before we get into how a PID controller... How could we? Should that be could or would? How would we keep the car on track if it moves with a constant speed? Imagine you're making a self-driving RC car that drives on a line. How could we? How might we? Could just sounds weird. How can we keep? It might just be because I'm biased against the word can. I just don't like the word can. It's weird. Let's see. Foreign speakers utilize more. Could be. The word utilize comes from the French utilizer, which, yeah, it's fair. Like a lot of people use as for because I've never used... Wait. A lot of people use as for because I never use as since it has two meanings, which confuses the statement. Is that true? I'm not sure. Let's see. The word utilize, let's see. Okay, so I think I'm caught up on chat. I've got issues with these sentences. I'll come back to these. So imagine our RC car is moving too far to the right. In this case, it makes sense to turn to the left. So again, for all of these guys, the proportional derivative controller and integral controller, I'm going to go up here and I'm just going to say review changes. For each of the three controllers, it makes sense to have a quick animation of a car moving on a dotted line. And showing the motion. Like, just kind of like, you have a car on a dotted line, it's like, well, okay, as it's moving around in the dotted line, what do these controllers actually do? You know, what the controllers are actually doing. Something like this. Controllers. Ah, dang it. That's probably okay. I have this... controllers are actually doing. And I can say I can make these animations. If you want. I think it shouldn't take too long to make. I think maybe a day. Okay. Or like one stream. So just agreeing with you. Let's see. I agree 100%. Using bigger words sounds like a bad idea. I think you should describe it as simple and plain as possible. I agree with that. I like a lot of people use, yeah. What's interesting is that both utilize and use come from the same Latin root word, though utilize comes via derivatives, via the derivative adjective utilis. I didn't know that. Actually, I don't know much about like the root of most English words at all. I just know, you know, this is how you're supposed to write English. And to be totally and completely honest, it's just because I used to read a lot of books and I used to write a lot as a kid. Like, I don't know much outside of that. Let's see. With the following in mind, if you can't explain it to a 6-year-old, you don't understand it. I don't know if that's necessarily true, because there is some stuff that you just can't explain in depth to a 6-year-old. I would argue like you could explain the simplest concepts, but sometimes you need math, sometimes you need programming, you need something else in order to explain it. Let's see. And the bigger words are exact opposite of that. They also mostly push up the ego. Yeah, this is true. As can be a comparative word and also means because. So you're saying like, I mean, as true as I think that is, I'm just trying to find a word. Actually, do I use the word as a lot? I mean, I feel like it is a word that comes up a lot, but I just don't remember the last time I've used the word. Like, I'll use it, like, if I say in, like, a simile or something, like, you're as smooth as silk or something like that. As for... Yeah, I don't know. I guess maybe I don't use the word too often. It all comes down to you being able to abstract something so much that it's still true as a 6-year-old understands it. If you can't break it down to simplest concepts, do you really understand it? What's funny is that American English changes the spelling of words, but when looking at history, words are from Latin, so it has a reason for it being spelled like it is. This is true, but I mean American English, right? Like the reason American English changes the spelling of words is because, you know, it's just trying to make it a little bit simpler, right? Like Webster basically came in and just rewrote the dictionary because, you know, realize, for example, has a Z in it. So it's not realized, it's realized, you know, like that's how it's pronounced. So that's how it's changed to. Or color, it doesn't make sense to have a U in it because it's not color, it's color, you know, and things like that. So it's just changed afterwards. And I know a lot of people, like they kind of, like they're kind of snobby against American English. I get that. But on the other hand, it is genuinely a more accurate language. Like it's a more accurate depiction of how you pronounce these words. You know what I mean? For the most part, it is just a better language. Like, I know like a lot of people are like, oh yeah, but you don't keep the Latin root. And I get that. I do understand that. Like but I don't think that British English is better than American English. I think American English just makes more sense. Like it's clearer. It's like, this is how you pronounce the word. Pretty sure another reason he changed the words during the Revolution is to differentiate himself from England. I mean, that could be true. I'm not sure. I often have to use English UK for computer science stuff because my date is effed up otherwise. I mean, that's fine. I think the date in... Like, the thing is, because we have these different ways of representing the date, I have no idea, like, what we're supposed to do. So I always just, like, write out May, you know, or, like, I just write out the month instead of actually doing, like, 7/5/2018 or whatever. The spelling eyes comes from the Greek... Isaean, is that how that's pronounced? While eyes comes from Latin via French, and the OED favors the former. What is OED? I don't know what OED stands for. Sorry about that. Okay, so let's keep going. Adding PID chapter. Okay. So again, I'm going to have to come back to these sentences up here. Where are they? Here. I don't know. Because right now the entire thing is written via analogy, which is fine. But... how about this? How about we say for the following, maybe add for the following sections, imagine something like this, maybe. I think maybe that would help. Preview. I like that a bit more. I know it is what it is. It doesn't matter. Month, date, year. Who thought that makes sense at all? But that's another topic. Yeah, I agree. It's another topic. I mean, that makes sense to me because it's like, the most important thing that you need to know is that it's April. You don't really need to know like what day it is exactly, but it kind of also depends. I don't know. It depends. One in 2018, 12/25. I think that's fine too, right? Like, there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, that's what they do sometimes in, yeah, I think I've seen that before in Japan sometimes. I'm not sure. In fact, I believe American spellings are closer to the originals, while British spellings are influenced by French. That could be true. I'm not really sure. Again, I'm not saying very much about. I don't know very much about the origins of the English language. I just know that when you compare the British English versus the American English variants, I really do feel like the American English variants are closer to what is actually pronounced than the British English variants. With the exception of maybe maths, in that I do maybe agree that maths should have an S at the end, but in the US it's just math without the S. I think maybe that's the one exception that I found. But for the most part, I prefer American English. And also in the word of gray, Gray versus Grey, like I think maybe Grey, no, Gray does make more sense, I guess, gray. So Gray is the American spelling. I'm not really sure. Year, month, date is the international standard. Oh, maybe that's it. To be fair, English people pronounce things differently. Oh, this is also true. That's fair. Or pronounce it as mathematics. Or just pronounce it as mathematics. Yeah, but at some point, like, I went to mathematics class today. It's a little bit weird. Like usually you'll say I went to math class today. But usually, actually, after you're done with high school, you don't usually say I went to math class. I mean, you might say I'm a math major or something like that. But you wouldn't say I went to math class. Usually you'd say I went to calculus, or I went to probability, or I went to information theory, or something like that. Let's see. Even though I use day, month, year for written stuff, like on paper, I did that when I was in the US. Oh, the international standard. But you can reverse it, and you got the standard. So if you really want to be pedantic, only use I's with words that have Greek origins. Like finalize? Yeah, okay, fine. You might be right. But again, I'm not going to be able to keep track of what is, the correct thing to do and what is, what, I don't know how to put this. Like, there is a way in which people write and a way in which people speak, in which I am very accustomed to, because I'm a native English speaker and I'm very used to hearing things in this way. I figure maybe if I learned English after the fact, like, there would be some way to, I feel like if I use, how do I put this? Like, if I learned English as a second language, maybe I'd be more, consistent with, the roots of words and stuff like that. But just because I learned it while growing up, there's a lot of colloquialisms in my speech that I use that I'm just not even, I'm not even aware they're there, If you really want to be pedantic, let's see. Z in UK is underused. Yeah, that's definitely true. Or stuff like you think it's okay and it's fine. Let's see. The word finalize comes from the Latin finalis. I'm glad you know everything, Zadison, because I know nothing about all this kind of stuff. Again, humans make language, not the other way around. Yeah, I agree with you. And again, like, the English I use is American English. I'm sorry, it's just what I use. I'm not saying that it's the best English. I'm just saying it's what I use. And I think that a lot of people like, they just put their nose up to American English. Like, if they put their nose up to a lot of American things, they're like, they're just different because they're American. And I guess in some sense, maybe we are a bit different because we're American. But I mean, that doesn't mean we're wrong, It's just a different way of writing things, So I don't know. I get a lot of complaints about my American English in my lab because I'm the only American in my lab. And people are always like, you should have used this or that. And like, there's certain words like fiber. The word fiber in English is Fibre, which is weird to me because it's not fibre, it's fiber, So like, you write it as fiber. To be fair, Americans love to be different. Yeah, I think that's actually a cultural thing. I think a lot of people in America, like, they pride themselves in being different and being, American, And don't get me wrong, there's benefits and drawbacks to that. I mean, the benefit being that, Americans have a strong sense of cultural identity. The drawback being Americans have a strong sense of cultural identity and they often ignore other cultures. So that's fine. Imperial units. I agree with you. Imperial units are a bit dumb. Like, I mean, I've been in Japan for the past 5 years, and I'll admit, I think imperial units are dumb. However, I think it's worse how freaking annoying everyone gets at Americans for using imperial units. It just drives me nuts. Like, don't get me wrong, I agree that we should be using standard units. We should be using SI units. I completely agree. Grams, kilograms, we should be using liters. I agree. Completely agree. But I get really pissed off when people get so mad at me for being American and using imperial units. They're like, oh, how dare you use Fahrenheit? I'm like, come on, like, I'm sorry. Like, it's just what we're used to. It's what we use. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, why are you so mad at us for using Fahrenheit? Why are you so mad at us for writing fiber F-I-B-E-R instead of F-I-B-R-E? Like, just don't be so snobby about it, and it's fine. Like, if you weren't just like, I mean, a lot of times people just like, they look at Americans and they're like, oh, you're American, so everything you do is garbage. It's like, come on, like, we're fine. We're doing okay. And I think that's kind of the reason why you have this stereotype of Americans loving to be different, because like people keep looking down on them for being Americans. It's like, come on, it's fine. We're misspelling words slightly differently. We're, using slightly different units, but ultimately it works. We're okay. The country is fine. There's no big deal with it, So it's just, I don't know. I agree. Fahrenheit's a bit weird. No doubt. I prefer Celsius to Fahrenheit. Yes and no. I already know. Yes and no. I already knew that, but looked it up just to be sure. Oh, fair enough. I don't like giving people misinformation. Yeah, that's also fair. Americans also like to bomb other countries. They like to give an F for other countries. I mean, this is true also. I feel like Americans stick their hands in way too many foreign businesses, but also they're kind of forced to, in a way. Like, it's one of those things that like nowadays, like, America became the unofficial police force of certain countries, and it kind of sucks that that's the case, but it is the case, and so now, I mean, Americans, I don't know whether most people don't want America to be in all these foreign affairs, but they also understand that they can't. Like, most Americans I know really just want to take the U.S. out of all these foreign businesses. They just want to be done with it. But at the same time, they can't because of all these stupid political ties that we have now. And it's just impossible to fix everything up. And I agree, Vietnam was, like, years ago, it's still crap. Let's see, fiber is from Latin word fibra. Again, I don't care where it came from. The fact is, fiber is pronounced fiber, not fibra. Clearly we shouldn't, I mean, again, I don't care. Clearly, we should be using Renkind. Oh yeah, I don't think those are the appropriate units. The worst is when Americans have to use metric system just to get mad at other Americans for using imperial. I don't think I've ever seen this before. I think for the most part people care. How dare you use F? You should use K. What kind of physicist are you? A bad one apparently. Isn't garbage an American word? Surely you mean rubbish? I mean, I guess I didn't know garbage was an American word. I use garbage all the time. Vietnam, and yes, it sucks. I like how you're using they. I use they a lot. The imperial system of measurement is inexcusable, though. It was fine for a time. Like 100 years ago, I feel like imperial was way easier to deal with than standard units, because imperial measurement kind of uses temperatures and stuff that you're used to, Like 100 Fahrenheit is technically close to body temperature, and 0 Fahrenheit, I don't know, like, kind of sort of makes sense. Because we're off track about it anyways, I think we should require following statement for each PR alongside this is my own work. Yeah, I was planning to, this is something that I definitely wanted to add in here, and that was part of the vote that I put in not too long ago. Working on these templates also needs to be discussed. What is this? Yeah, I agree. This should be added to every PR. Completely agreed. This is something that I wanted to say here. I agree. Let's see. I mean using they to refer to Americans when you're technically American too. Oh, yeah, I guess that's true. I don't know. I don't care about the spelling words. I do care about imperial units. Who cares about people? I care about water. What? I guess that's fair. I mean, the water in Flint, Michigan, for example, could be slightly better. But I mean, again, like this is a discussion that I don't know. I do get a little pissed off when people get angry at me for using Fahrenheit. Like, I don't use Fahrenheit regularly. Like, I understand I can do the conversion between Fahrenheit and Celsius, and in many ways I find Celsius way more intuitive than Fahrenheit. But in a lot of ways I don't. And it's just, it doesn't really matter. Like, for example, all of the times when I bake things, whenever I'm baking goods, it's always in like cups and tablespoons and teaspoons and stuff like that. Like, I'm not used to the metric measurements here. Like, I don't think I've ever had a measurement tool for grams of something. You know, like I think it, or not grams or whatever. I honestly, I don't think I even know what it would be. I guess liters. I don't know, but I know that for the most part, I'm just very used to the American tools specifically for baking. You know, before chapter PR merge. Yep, I agree. This should definitely be in there. F is based on body temperature. C is based on freezing and boiling water. Yep, agreed here. I mean, but F is also, to be fair, Fahrenheit has some weird scales. Like, for example, 0 Fahrenheit was basically as cold as they could get water at some point in time. So basically, they added a bunch of salt to water and they tried to freeze it. And they were like, okay, well, it seems like this is about as cold as we can get Fahrenheit. So, like, the bottom half of Fahrenheit is meant to be freezing water, and the top half of Fahrenheit is meant to be body temperature. It is kind of weird. Admittedly, it's not clear. No one uses grams for baking. I don't know what you use for grams. I don't know what you use for baking. I mean, F is based on it, and they got it wrong. And that's even more funny. I mean, come on. It is a measure for temperature. Is it a bad measure for temperature? Maybe. Is it still accurate? Yeah, it's still just as accurate as any other measure. It doesn't matter where you start or set your 0 or your 100 or any of that kind of stuff. It just doesn't matter. Like, we use tablespoon and so on, but I think we would say 500 grams of flour. Could be. I don't know. It's the same as US cups and spoons. Spoons. No one uses spoons. Or do you use tablespoons? Oh yeah, tablespoons maybe. Yeah, okay, tablespoons. I thought you were just gonna like grab a spoon and be like, yep, that's about right, and just put it in there. Okay, back to the BID control chapter. Okay, maybe add for the following sections, imagine, yeah, okay, so now we'll say for the following sections. So imagine our RC car is moving too far to the right. In this case, it makes sense to turn to the left. Yeah, again, I think a picture here would show this pretty well, or some sort of animation. Since there are a range of angles you can turn the wheel, you should turn proportional to the distance from the center line. Now, I don't think the line was defined here. So RC car that drives on a line. Imagine you're making a self-driving RC car that drives, that maybe tries to keep itself on a line. Edit. You are designing a self-driving, oh, hello there, RC car that tries to keep, he tries to, yeah, fine, fair enough. Spoons, yeah, I understand now. I misunderstood when you said it initially. That was, I apologize for that. Self-driving that tries to remain on a line. Something like this. Yeah, this way it drives on a line, tries to remain on a line, something like this. I don't know. Or something similar. Something. Let's try spelling that right. Okay, let's see. So imagine our RC car is moving too far to the right of the line, let's say. So we know, oh, how did I highlight that? How do I unhighlight this? Okay. Sorry about that. So imagine, let's see, our RC car is moving too far to the right of the line, just so we specified. Just so we've written the line in here, so we understand that we're using that as a metric. Like it's too far right of the line, or it's too far left of the line, or something like that. I don't know how to like unhighlight this. I don't know exactly what I did there. So let's cancel that. Since there are a range of angles you can turn the wheel, you should turn proportional to the distance from the line. And this is what the proportional controller P controller does, which is described by P here, where Kp is a constant and Et is the current distance from the line. Now, is Et, is that going to be confused with exp of t? Let's see, what do we have here? Probably not. It's Et. It's probably fine. Yeah, you're almost certainly fine. Let's see. I mean, yeah, that's what I saw already. Take a spoon and you're fine. Unless you want to do chemistry levels of baking. One moment. One of the developers at Hello Games recently went on a long rant on Twitter about the imperial system. I'll take a look at this. Why not? It's a ramble day. It's okay. Just learned there are 16 ounces in a pound, and I'm livid. It's fine. What's wrong with 16 ounces? What kind of number is that? I had no reason to actually look into imperial measurements until now, and frankly, I immediately regret it finding this out. It's not that big of a deal. It's fine. There's not a big. It's fine. Let's see. So it makes some sense though, because a pound is defined as being 7,000 grains, so that it makes each ounce a nice round 437.5 grains. And then, oh my word, oh my effing actual god, guess how many pounds there are in a stone? Okay, to be fair, like, no one uses stones. I don't think a stone I thought was a British thing. Like, I'd never heard of anyone actually using stones. You'll never get it. It would be impossible to guess. There are 14 pounds in a stone. As a completely different effing number. There's literally no way to know how many ounces are in a stone. No one can know this. But Inez, oh, okay. You can just multiply 14 by 16 and you'll get, no math has clearly abandoned us. Numbers mean nothing at this point. What? This guy's really mad. Like, this is the thing. People get so mad at this. I don't understand why they're so angry at this one thing. It's like, come on, it's fine. Karamber, thank you so much for following. No F word, but C is great. What do we have here? XD, open link. No cussing. The following 4 little words are forbidden here: inch, mile, foot, pint, yard, acre. And we never swear the big F. I just don't understand why people are so mad at this, you know? Like, I understand the guy's Scottish. The guy's obviously either Scottish or Irish, having written this. Because he's obviously okay with cussing in general. But, like, people get so angry at the imperial system. They get so angry at, like, just little things that Americans do different, you know? And I don't understand why they're so angry. Like, it's fine. Like, it's ultimately okay. Yeah, sure. It might be a bad measurement system, but it's what people are used to, so it's okay. Like, who cares? You know, and then people get so mad. It's like, why are you so mad? Like, come on. Like, it's fine. I just don't understand. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to be. I mean, I knew he was. Fine. Fair enough. Maybe I shouldn't have assumed his region of, I don't know, birth, I guess. I don't know. But I mean, this is something that you would very typically hear from someone in the UK area. And like, from down here, please keep it clean and metric. The way that this font was written, it was like, hey, I think he's probably making a joke here. And I don't know. I mean, I know a good number of people from around this area. And so I kind of made an assumption that maybe I shouldn't have. What is this? Let people drink. Ew. We need to drink red liquid from the crystal. Jeez. Man. Okay. That was kind of the fact that people care. Oh my word. It's fine. It is what it is. But yeah, don't get me wrong. Like, I completely agree. Imperial units are absolute garbage, and they should be people should get rid of them. We tried to get rid of them, but we couldn't get rid of them in the US. The thing that gets me angry is people getting angry at it. You know, it's like don't get me wrong. I know I get angry at MATLAB. You know, I get that. I get angry at small scale things. But surely this isn't people's MATLAB. Like, this can't be that annoying. People don't have to deal with the Imperial unit or Imperial units that much. Just every now and again, you know? They don't have to deal with it like every single day usually. If they're not in the US. And if they are in the US, they have to deal with it every day, and it's fine. Like, who cares? People are used to it, you know? So it's like the interface between imperial and metric units isn't that big that you can be that irritated at it, you know? Like, people use it. Like, the thing is, if you go to an American and you're like, your unit system is dumb, they're like, okay, you know, I don't really care. But then they're like, no, your unit system is really effing dumb. You need to do this and that and that. It is complete garbage. I'm like, okay. You know, like, it just, the only thing that gets me mad is that they're so mad about it. You know, I don't know. That's all it is. People get so angry at it, and I just don't understand how and why they're so angry. Adding PID to control chapter. Let's see. You didn't try, you made it optional. Basically, they uncovered a sarcophagus that had somehow been flooded with sewage, and he started a petition to drink from it and got thousands of signatures. It's very annoying with woodworking. Most standards use imperial units, 9-inch nails, etc. I'm not that angry. It's fine. I apologize if I'm making it sound like I'm actually angry. I'm not. Follow up on Twitter. Let me see what. Oh my gosh, it's fine. It's one of those days. You're annoyed that American units of measurement. Water freezes at 32, boils at 212, 12 inches make a foot, 16 ounces makes a pound, average atmosphere pressure. SC level has very nice round value set 14.7. Let me tell you about American wire gauge. Europeans use a 2mm wire. So how thick is it? 2 millimeters. This is a wire gauge 2. So how thick is it? 0.2576 inches. That's 6.544 millimeters. Europeans. So when I want to find out what size of wire I have, I measure the thickness in millimeters. When I want to find out what size wire I have, I measure the thickness in inches and calculate -39 times logarithm to the base 92 of the diameter divided by 0.005 inch plus 36. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see. So the other question is how to attribute reviewer, by the way. Should we attribute them? And if yes, how? I think this is dependent on, like I said, all future editors. So I would say, yeah, we attribute them just the same as we attribute the author, right? Well, maybe not the reviewer, but like if the reviewer, like I think the reviewer and the editor, depending on how much revision was done, like if there's very little revision, then you can make an argument that the reviewer shouldn't be in the attribution. But if there was a lot of revision, then you could argue that they should be attributed and something like that, with the exception of me, because I think in my case it's kind of naturally assumed that I have my hand in almost everything, so it's okay just for me not to be attributed in certain chapters, I think. Or maybe I'll be automatically attributed. I haven't really figured that one out yet. We'll kind of work on this chapter and we'll see how this comes about. Okay, since there are a range of angles you can turn the wheel, let's see. Where KP is a constant, the performance of the controller improves with a large KP value. KP is too high, then the area is too high and the system becomes unstable. In this example, the car would turn in circles since there is a maximum angle. So again here, it would be nice have an animation of sorts with all the possible instabilities here. I guess, I'm not really sure. Like just to say, when the air is too high, it turns in circles. So to show animation to show this. Add review comment there. And again, I think this is true for all of the controllers. There's going to be some sort of animation that would be nice to have here. You should be in the attribution as well. Again, it depends on like how much I've done. If the chapter is good to go, then there's no reason to attribute me. But if there's like a lot of review that went into this and there's a lot of editing that went into this, then like these people should be mentioned in the attribution. And that kind of depends on the situation. So, okay. So I think, again, we just need some animations here, and ultimately we're going to need some citations or something for a part later on. So the P controller works as well. But it has the added problem of overshooting a lot. We need to dampen these oscillations. So yeah, this is the thing. It's confusing here because it says, in this example, the car would turn in circles since there's a maximum angle that we can turn, else it would zigzag around the line. Yeah, so these, I guess these are two different ones. Update comment. And down here, I'm still arguing that the P controller, it's not clear to me how we can, the oscillations, how we can model the error in the P controller as an oscillation. Again, an animation or some depiction could help here. Okay, so P controllers may overshoot and then start to oscillate around the track, so you're dampening oscillation, not the motion of the car. Yeah, I'm just not sure. The B controller may overshoot and then it will start to oscillate around the track. Yeah, I'm not sure here. Okay, so let's keep going. One way to solve this is make the RC car resistant to sudden changes of error. This is what the derivative controller, D controller, does, which is described by here. And this is going to be... Okay, I understand this is an American versus a European thing, but I really prefer a colon here to a comma. And a lot of people really prefer commas, but I really prefer colons. And I think I have been using colons. Yeah, I have been using colons for all of this. Because in an English sentence, the colon makes more grammatical sense than a comma. You know, because you would say, this object is, I don't know, like the colon makes more grammatical sense here. My boss absolutely hates colons though, and says, you know, that they shouldn't be used. But I'm fairly confident. One second, let me go ahead and look up a book real quick that I have just over here. That colons are used quite regularly. I think it's an EU versus, yeah, in all the books that I'm used to having, there's a colon. Like I just open up a book to a random page, and here's a colon right there used before an equation. This is a very heavily marked page. It's just a random page. I literally just open it up. It's a colon before an equation. Like people always use colons before equations. But the thing is, like, it depends. The equation is supposed to be a natural part of the sentence, right? And so the thing is, here, for the previous system of equations, this might look like this, right? You would put a colon there, right? Because like in an English sentence, that's where a colon belongs. However, if it needs to be a natural part of the English sentence. So like, made the camera. Yeah, I know you can't see it. There's nothing I could do. I mean, it's fine. I can just show you. It's regular to put colons. Like again, you put a colon into a sentence. Like colons are very useful grammatical or like, yeah, grammatical structures, you know? And they're used to introduce, oh, hey, Tim, thank you so much for raiding with the party of 26. Really appreciate it. How was your stream, man? I hope it was fantastic. And if it wasn't, that's also okay. Thanks for coming in. I transitioned away from using colons, but I don't see a strong reason against it. Yeah, I also agree. Like colons have they are particularly useful for introducing like particular bits of a sentence. Like they are there before equations. Twitch raid, can't copy paste on mobile. Thanks, I appreciate it. Yeah, Tim, I hope your stream was okay. If you guys don't know Tim, I mean, we rated him yesterday. We rate him regularly, but he's a wonderful streamer. He's making this kind of racing game and stuff like that. It's really good. You should definitely check out his streams if you can. We're arguing about colons. We definitely are. It's pretty good. Merry Christmas. I hope everyone's having a Merry Christmas too. I realize it is, I think Christmas, the late in the day Christmas for a lot of people. So I think it's like either the afternoon of Christmas or the evening of Christmas, depending on where you are. So I'm hoping you guys have a wonderful, or are having a wonderful day. 1 second, I just have to check some notifications over here on my side screen. So if you guys are not familiar with this stream before, or you haven't been here before, then we are working on a book called The Arcane Algorithm Archive. Let me just go ahead and change this to be a white background so it's a little bit more clear. It is a collection of algorithms written in every language we can possibly come up with. So, let me go to the actual algorithmarchive.org site. So, for example, if you go to BubbleSort, you can just go to BubbleSort and you can change the language to any of the languages that we have available. And that's how you do it. So we have like all the languages you want, or all the algorithms that we can come up with, all the algorithms we can find, and then we write them basically all the languages we can too. This is all, of course, related to GitHub. So if you want to contribute code to, like, let's say, for example, we're in Gaussian elimination, and you really want to implement Gaussian elimination in, I don't know, one of the languages that isn't here, just feel free to go ahead and find some sort of algorithm over here, find the chapter that you want to update, Thomas algorithm, let's say, and then you just want to put the language in that's missing. Does that make sense? I'm hoping that makes sense. I reloaded for cool prism action. F5. I might have to, yeah, here's prism. Cool. Okay, so let's see, what do we have here? We raided Tim yesterday, now we raid us. We are an official war, cows versus turtles. Is that actually true? What do we have here? War Linter Games. Thank you so much for following. But okay, thank you for the 2 cheers. TS Joss, thank you for the 2 bits. Buttercake, thank you for the 484 bits. I feel like that was specifically to beat out, let's see, what do we have here? 2000, I see, making it a clean 2000. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Also, thanks for coming in. I really appreciate the raid. I really appreciate all the support you guys are sending my way. We are literally arguing, though, about English grammatical structures. That's what we're arguing about, because we are currently doing our first real revision, I guess you could say, of a new chapter to the algorithm archive, and we're trying to argue, like, we're debating what should and shouldn't be used. So JSPP up here says tomorrow is a major playtest. Oh yeah, please check out Tim's stream tomorrow, where there will be a big playtest of his stuff. So if it's 25 hours from now, I think I can probably raid you immediately after the end of my stream, and so I'll try to do that for sure tomorrow. Because that's going to be your big playtest. So I'll finish my stream up at 7 o'clock a.m. like I normally do, and then I will raid you afterwards. So let's go ahead and read up the chat, because I am way behind on chat. So the comma separate stuff, doing something comes now, separator, something comes, makes no sense. Doing something comes now, colon, see the next indicator, something makes more sense. Yeah, I mean, the colon, right, it's useful, like, to introduce like a list of things or something like that. To introduce, I mean, again, maybe we just shouldn't have a comma or any grammatical structure in this case. Maybe that's how it should be. I don't know. We'll see. 25 hours from now, by the way, or I think both is fine. I still prefer colon though. Yeah, so we raided Tim yesterday. Let's see. Especially for weird English language. Yeah. TS Josh, stop it already. No, you. Let's see. Yeah, we have brainfuck in the algorithm archive. It's whatever you want. Any language, we accept all languages. They all go through a review process, so we have to make sure we can review the language. And we have some people who know enough brainfuck that they were able to review some languages. It's actually really cool. Reload for cool prism action. So earlier today, if you guys are not aware, we did just change the syntax highlighter so that we're able to definitely highlight all syntax for all languages. Before, for some reason, C++ and C had a problem where they weren't being appropriately highlighted, that kind of stuff. I haven't seen colon in maths to break text in maths. I have. It's very, very, very common. Like, again, I'll just pull up another random page. This is just a random textbook, though. And there's always a colon. Let me see. I can pull out another textbook, I guess, but I don't have any around me right now. But the colon is used very, very frequently in American textbooks, I guess. But that's true. Ban too many F words. I'm sorry. That's how it is. Let me pop over here. I just got a notification on GitHub, and that is that. Oh, okay, cool. So it is either a new pull request or, yeah, it's a new pull request. Fair enough. Okay, what do we have here? What's the stream about, mate? Again, I just mentioned it. We are doing algorithm archive stuff. I don't know if you were in or not. Let's see, I want to contribute. If you want to contribute, we have a huge, let's see, what do we have here? Wiki, how to contribute guide, which is pretty well detailed on how to contribute, starting from nothing and going from there. Okay, I think I'm caught up. Let's see, trying to figure out the timing of how indeed. Yeah, so I'll raid you at the end of stream. If it's 25 hours from now, we can probably make that happen. The person who recommended Prism Leos to me PRing. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see, no colon, comma seems good. No, the comma doesn't make sense here, which is not much. If something, then a colon, I would say. But it depends. Ultimately, all is fine. Banned for too many F words. I think the use of colon in English and comma in German. I think I would use a colon in English and comma in German. Yeah. Make the camera bigger, please, so I can see. I can't. Like, this camera doesn't have high enough resolution that I can do that. So let's see. I think we'll have to keep that command updated. So, well, stuff more, sometimes less, but stuff nonetheless. Oh. Is the bot still up? Yes, it is still up. It actually is. Let's see. Dual Buttercake. Oh my gosh. So now I'm not gonna be able to read chat. But again, I mean, I can just pull up a math book. I don't know. But I mean, colons are used very frequently. Again, like I was saying, we should be every equation should be part of the English sentence that you're writing, right? So it should flow naturally as a part of the English language. So if a colon is necessary there, then we use a colon. But here, a comma isn't necessary. I don't think anything's necessary here. This is what a proportional controller P controller does, which is described by this. Yeah, I don't think anything's necessary here. I don't think we need commas or anything. we might need a comma at the end there. But again, I'm not used to, I'm not used to this. So I always use colons because that's what makes the most sense, which is described by, Yeah, I just don't think we need a grammatical structure here. So I think we need a comma at the end here, but I think this comma we don't need, which is described by the following. So I think we don't need a comma here. So I'm just going to say, I don't think we need a comma. A comma at the end. Here. So I think that's fine. Look at here. Open link. Let's see. Gotta run. Enjoy. Yeah, see you, Tim. Thanks so much for coming in. I really appreciate the raid. So let's go. Archive here. Let's take a look. PDF. Again, it has to be a natural part of the English sentence. So, again, no comma. But again, none of these are. Yep, these are all fine. Yeah, again, so none of these guys even have. Here it is. Now we can apply equation 5 and get colon. So there's one right there. But again, all of these, it has to be a natural part of the English sentence. So like, as I said before, if this necessitates a colon, that's fine. If this necessitates nothing, that's fine. But very few situations do I ever see it necessitating a comma. That's the thing that I'm trying to say. Brian Makes, thank you so much for following. Really appreciate it. So that was what I was arguing. But again, it also just depends. So in that case, I think it doesn't need anything. I think it's fine just to leave as is. No punctuation at all. I think it's fine. The most important thing is that it's standardized for the algorithm archive. And I agree, in this case, I have been doing a poor job of standardizing this. So I need to go back through and revise that. That's actually something I should probably keep a note of to make the book look and feel the same for every chapter. I agree. I mean, that's why we're doing such a rigorous review process here. Pull request, add cryptography chapter. Yep. Just go ahead and here's the PID chapter. Okay, so let's keep going. We have a lot left to do. Oh man. But again, adding some sort of animation here would make it look very good. It would make it work very well, I think. And so I think I might spend some time working on that animation because there's a bunch of other things that we need to update. So we also need to update. I agree. Such things should also be written down for the wiki. And that's exactly why when I said we needed to start today, or one of the things that we could work on today would be chapter contributor guidelines. And in the chapter contributor guidelines, we would be talking about, come on, I can speak English. We would be talking about all the things that you need to do, and this would be kind of part of it. Implement Monte Carlo integration in NIM. 356. I think this one's already been merged in, right? Yeah, it's fine. Oh, you were just checking the BotterCake functionality? Yeah, it's fine. 346. Oh, yeah, that's true. The review is so rigorous just because he hates me. No, it's not because I hate you. Like I said before, like I very rigorously go through all the text. Like there's another guy in here, the one written by another cryptography chapter. There's one that I'm going to be I think I'm going to be quite rough with, unfortunately. And it's this one in here, because if you look at the files changed, it's not really obvious. Yeah, there's just a lot of stuff that needs to be updated here. It's not a chapter. It's basically just an introduction to code. And that's something that I want to try to avoid. You can't just use sarcasm like that. I'm hoping it's sarcasm. I'm just rough on text. That's my problem. Which is described by, yeah, again, I don't think no comma here. I think it's true. It's fine. No comma. One way to solve this is to make the RC car resistant to sudden changes of air. That's fine. This is what the derivative controller does. Yep, that's fair. Where K of D is a constant. If KD is too high, then the system is overdamped, i.e. the car takes too long and get back on track. Yep, this is fine. If it's too low, the system is underdamped, i.e. the car oscillates around the line, and when the car returns to the track and there's little to no oscillations, the system is critically damped. I would love to see an animation of this. Could we show an animation with all three of these side by side? And again, I can do these animations. I'm just double checking to make sure that this is consistent with what, or this you would allow this, because I think adding images here would really help. The proportional derivative controllers are robust enough to keep the car. Keep the car on track. How about on the line? Something like this. Let's go ahead and do preview. Yep, okay, add review. Let's see. But what if wind starts pushing the car, introducing some constant error? Well, we need to know if we are spending too long on one side to account for it. To account for that. Well, we would need to know if we are spending too long on one side to account for it. And we can figure it out by summing up all the errors and multiplying it by a constant. Well, we would need to know if we're spending too long on one side to account for that. And we can figure that out by summing up all the errors and multiplying by a constant. Maybe it's just because I'm tired, but this doesn't seem to... Oh, I knew your PR would take a whole stream to review. Chapter revisions always take, like, I've done these before, and I'm gonna be honest, the chapter revisions always take like 3 or 4 hours every single time I do a revision, which is why I'm so hesitant to do them, because it just takes so freaking long, and then there's so much that needs to be done on top of that. You know, it just takes so long. And there's very little I can do about it. It's just one of those things. They just take a while. Well, we would need to know if we're spending too long on one side to account for that. And we can figure that out by summing up all the errors. I'm not sure what errors are we referring to. I just don't know when you say, so we need to know if we're spending too long on one side to account for that. And we can figure, a sentence just doesn't make sense. We need to know if we're spending too long on one side to account for that. So we're saying, introducing a constant error, by summing up all the errors. I think clearer. Can I say that? Is it clearer or more clear? I actually don't know. I think it's more clear. I don't know. And made, I think it needs to be reworked and made more clear. I'm just not sure what it's trying to say. So what we're saying is we're spending too long on one side to account for it. Yeah, so we would need to know. Yeah. Add review comment. Okay, this is what the inner controller or iController does, which is described by this. Yeah, okay. I know, it's fine. So I is K, where Ki is a constant. The performance of the controller is better with higher K. With higher Ki, it can reduce oscillations. So again, a side-by-side animation would do well here. And again, I can do the animations. It's not going to be too big of a deal. So PID controller total. The PID controller is the sum of all 3 controllers and is of the form. Again, just no commas here, but similar to above. Again, no comma, I think. Okay, add review comment. And then down here, again, no comma. How do I unhighlight something? Okay. Clearest? It's definitely the clearest. Blind, blinder, blindest? Yeah, that's fair. Okay, so it's of this form. If you use PID controller, you need to tune it by setting the constants KP, KI, KD. And if you choose parameters for your PID controller incorrectly, the output will be unstable and the output diverges. There are multiple methods of tuning, like manual tuning, Zigger, and this is kind of a debate, but I think if these are mentioned, they should be described. I'm still following this. Why not link the wiki page? If possible, it would be nice. Have citations. of these with bibtextsite. Let's see, comma, 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 chameleon. Okay. Did I just win the Bit Wars? I think you did. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Add review comment there. And let's see. Theoretically, PID controllers can be used for any process with measurable output and a known ideal. But and a known. Wait, what are we talking about here? So theoretically, PID controllers can be used for any process with a measurable output and known ideal output. But controllers are used mainly for regulating temperature, pressure, force flow, rate, feed rate, speed, and more. With a measurable output and a known ideal output. T-John's probably just loading up a few more bits. I don't know. Has to steal his mom's credit card at first, and that takes some time. Yeah, I guess that's fair enough. No, but I do really appreciate all the support. I know I was kind of hectic a bit earlier, but I do really appreciate all the support that everyone has provided this channel. It's quite nice. I really appreciate it all. So I just like the fact that people care enough about this project and stuff like that. So okay. So let's see. So we see theoretically PID controllers can be used for any process with measurable output and a known ideal output. It reads funny. Just because the word output is used twice. I'm super not reviewing anything again. Okay, fair enough. I appreciate all the reviews you did before though. And that's perfectly fine. I do understand. It just takes forever to do revisions. As you can see, it's just taking me forever to do this revision. So, okay, so let's go. So theoretically, PID controllers can be used for any process with measurable output and known ideal output. I don't know how to change this. PID controllers can be used for any process with a measurable output. What about my Rust code? My contribution amount is a wave function. Totally understand. Wait, is it wave function as in, do you mean like sinusoidal oscillation as in it goes up or down? Or it means you're either all or nothing. If I measure you, you are either not going to be doing anything or you're going to be doing a lot. Or somehow it's mostly zero. I mean, I guess we just measure you to be doing very little. But honestly, you did a heck of a lot of work. So I really appreciate all the help up to this point. I mean, seriously. There's so much that this community does. It's just impossible. Or, I don't know. It's just so much work being put into this project by the community. It's just a crazy amount of work, and I obviously really, really appreciate it. I mean, this project doesn't work if it's just me writing code and talking about algorithms and stuff. It has to have community support behind it, and I'm just very glad that we have that community support, you know? So I understand that I ask a lot of the community, and I kind of apologize for that. There isn't really much I can do. But I love the fact that people are that supportive and they are willing to help in so many ways. It's really cool. I don't really have anything else to say there. Hey, Coding with Ethanol, how are you, man? So theoretically, PID controller can be used for any process with measurable output and a known writing ASM code or Brainfuck code. I'm not going to write that. Again, I just basically write the Julia implementation and everyone else puts down the other implementations. As a PID controller can be used for any process with a measurable output and a known ideal output. Measurable output. Yeah, I'm gonna have to think about this one some. I'm not really sure what we're looking at here. And a known ideal. Yeah, I don't know. It's just clunky. Let me. I'll come back to that one. Are we set to go? What do you mean, are we set to go? Okay, but controllers are used mainly for regulating temperature, pressure, force flow, rate, feed rate, and speed more. We're getting there. Luckily, the algorithm is very simple. You just need to make the PID equation discrete. Thus, the equation looks like this. Yep, this is fine. I remember looking at it before. In the end, the code looks like this. Okay. The example code is for a one-dimensional RC car. This is fine. Let me take a look at the code one more time. Okay. PID calculate. Yeah, it's simple enough. There isn't really... The code looks like this. So after we have the code down, we just need to add a quick description. Just write something. something, just write something. Something like, in the code, here we, what do? We, let's see, we have the integral. I guess we just simply, let's see, 26 through 34. Actually, it's the only ones that we're grabbing here. 26 through 34. Oh, actually, this is clear enough. I don't think we really need to do anything else here. We'll say the code is a straightforward extension. It's fine. In the end, the code looks like this. This is fine. I think it's fine because we aren't writing that much. And then down here, I think this is ultimately okay. I think that's fine for for another revision. Let's see. Ask me first. Yeah, please do. Is there anything? I don't really know anything that's holding us back. Yep. So we're working on that. Let's see. Yeah, again on Discord maybe. We can build this thing together, stand the stormy weather, and nothing's gonna stop us now. But he's dealing with PR stuff right now, so yeah. So there's gonna be a lot of this. Okay, so ultimately these reviews are good. Let's go ahead and take a look at the review changes. So for each of the three controllers, let's see. One, and we'll say two here. For each of the three controllers, ultimately, it's pretty close to being completed. Just a few graphics and citations. And I think we're okay there. So I'm going to go ahead and comment this. And again, I can't approve it yet, but these are the comments that I'm going to make. Okay, and that is it for the day. This is actually a pretty quick review compared to the last ones. I know... I know the thing is, whenever I do revisions for chapters, like it takes forever. And I know code revisions also take forever, but chapter revisions for me in particular, they take a while. How would you rate the formality of language in the chapters? I mean, it should just read naturally. It shouldn't be so incredibly formal. Like this isn't. It's the Algorithm Archive isn't meant to be like, you know, an incredibly formal math textbook. It's meant to be something that people can read and they can understand. From a variety of different backgrounds, right? So it's not really colloquial, but it's not really meant to be, you know, super, you know, I don't know how to put this. It's meant to just be, you know, standard written English. You know, it's not meant to be super difficult. Let's see. I'll work on the changes tomorrow, aka in 12 hours. Yep, no rush. Absolutely no rush, because it's going to take a while. As far as the graphics are concerned, just let me know, because I can also create some animations for this too. I've got an idea of how to do that, and so we can just do that too. It actually, I think, would take maybe one stream to do the animations here. And so I could probably just do that tomorrow if that's something that you guys, or you think you want to see done. Or you could try your hand at the animations too. I totally understand that. Okay, so I think this is good for now. I guess that's where we'll end. So ultimately, we got a lot done today. I realized it was kind of sort of, we did some time rambling about Imperial units and stuff like that, but ultimately, you know, we got a review done. That's pretty good. I think there's a lot left to do now that we're finally almost ready to accept chapter submissions. There's a lot, just a lot of stuff left to do here. A lot of chapters that we need to revise, all that kind of stuff. So we'll see how it goes. Yeah, so I think we also have the Prism stuff in. So we have the syntax highlighting fix for the C and C++, which is great. And I'm pretty happy to see where we go in the future. Again, there's a lot left to do with the Algorithm Archive, but that's how it always is. There's so much left to do. And it's very hard to do when you're kind of juggling a whole bunch of balls at the same time, but I think we're making good progress, and I appreciate that. Tune in stream feels good, man. Just about to end. Feels weird, man. I'm sorry. We stream from basically 5 to 7 o'clock a.m. Japanese Standard Time every day. Again, sometimes I do longer streams, but for the most part, this is what I've been trying to do for the past month or two. So it's been pretty consistent, 5 to 7 o'clock a.m. every day, and that's the stream time. So let's see who's online and who we can raid. Twitch over here. So we have, I guess Jessica Mack, Nerd Half-Life. I don't actually know. Who do you guys want me to raid at the end here? Oh yeah, please feel free to check out Discord. Yeah, just let me know who it is. If there's somebody here that you want to raid, let's just go to programming. Again, we could do Jessica Mack. I've done her before. She's nice. Let's just take a look at programming, science, software development, I guess. Yeah, we'll do software development, and we'll see who's online. Christmas stream. Oh, that's kind of nice. Christmas stream. Algorithm Archive. Let's see. Promote yourself. Chilling Code. I guess Jessica Mack. Yeah, we'll do Jessica Mack. That's probably fine. If you guys have anybody else you want to raid, just let me know, and I'll look at them in just a second. Let me go ahead and get a quick sip of water, and then we will close stream for the day. I'm sorry, I'm super tired. Raid Simuleos? Nah, I don't think that's okay. All right, we'll do Jessica Mack, I think, unless you guys have anyone else. Okay, guys, recursive raid. All right. Thank you guys so much for coming in. Have a great day, night, afternoon, morning, evening, whatever time it happens to be your time. And I will see you around next time for the next episode of Simuleos, which will be tomorrow, where we work on something. I haven't quite decided what we're going to be doing. It could be FFT animations. It could be PID animations. It could be spherical cow animations. It could be no animations at all. We could be doing more revisions. I don't know. We'll figure it out. There's a lot of work to do. And again, I think I'd like to start just knocking out some of this stuff as soon as we can. So thank you guys so much for coming in. Have a great day, night, afternoon, morning, evening, whatever time it happens to be your time. If it is still Christmas, your time, have a wonderful Merry Christmas. And I hope that the holiday season is, pretty good for you. I don't know how else to put it, but I hope you're having a great holiday season. And that is it. So I will see you next time. Bye, guys.